Alright, how's it going, guys? It's Dark Solstice from the Dark Side Empire, a little website here, and I'm going to be doing a bit of a tutorial. Now, recently, we've been having what's called our Chivalry Mondays, which is not on the calendar currently, but we generally do this every Monday, and we've been playing Chivalry, and it's a lot of fun, but you know, it'd be a lot more fun if we could get just the outfit doing it. So I was doing a little bit of research on how to host our own Chivalry server. Now, to be perfectly honest, it was not too difficult because I actually got it done, but it definitely wasn't the easiest thing. It took me quite a bit of time to really nail it and make sure that I got it right. So let's talk about getting this all set up. That way you don't have to, you know, go through the whole rigmarole that I had to go through to get this all set up. Because there were plenty of useful websites and plenty of useful, you know, YouTube videos, but none that really encompassed the entire creation of the server from start to finish. Oftentimes, they already had preset data that they just ran, that they're like, okay, so you do this, 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 and boom, you're done. That's all you have to do. And, you know, that's just, nah, it's not me. You know, I prefer something a little bit different. Okay, so how do we set up our Chivalry server? Well, first thing we're going to have to do is, luckily, you don't have to own the game. So if you wanted to set up a dedicated server, you definitely do have that ability. My mouse is going crazy over there, so I'll use the taskbar. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to Steam. We're going to go to our library. That's after you open up Steam, we're going to go to our library. We're going to go to Tools, and under Tools, you'll find Chivalry Medieval Warfare Dedicated Server. So what this allows you to do is A, host the server in the first place, and B, it allows you to host it on a machine that may not have Chivalry installed. So it means you can actually use the server setting or the server files in order to host the game. So you can put it on a secondary box that's just devoted to servers and things like that. So go ahead and get that downloaded. I already have it downloaded, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our little file location, which is over here on the screen. Pull it around. Beep. There you go. And mine is currently under here, under Programs 86, but it should be under your C drive unless you have multiple drives like I do, then it'll be under whatever drive that you put it under. So we'll go to Program Files. We're going to go to Steam, Steam Apps, Common. Oh man, this Cam Studio thing is slowing down my computer. I don't know why. I guess it's because it's recording. Anyways, but then we're going to scroll just a little bit down to Chivalry Dedicated Server, or Dead Server. Once in there, we're going to see three folders, our binaries, engines, and UDK games. So we're going to just stop here for the moment because there's some other stuff we have to do. So now that we have it all downloaded, we know where it is, we're going to minimize that. Now we're going to look at this page here. Now this page is amazing. It literally has every bit of information you need, just not quite in something that is easily understandable to most people. It's a little difficult, and even I had some trouble with it. I mean, I figured it out, but I did have a little bit of trouble. Had to ask a few people how to get that running. That might be because I'm a little dumb. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyways, okay, so we're going to ignore this nonsense here. This is no good. I didn't use it. I'm sure there's something. I don't even want to get into it. It was really complicated. So let's go down here, configuration. So we need to set up our server file. So as you can see, it's saying it's held within the dead server UDK and then config as far as the file pathing is run. But there are two configurations that you can run. One is the server, so when you're using client files, and the other is the actual server itself, which is UDK game. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back over here. Let's do a little bit of, see if I can get, nope, I don't, it's something weird with 3 monitors. Anyways, but so let's go back into here. So we're going to go into our UDK game, go into config, let's make it a little bigger, come on, stop lagging around. Alright, so we've got a lot of stuff in here. Don't worry about any of this. You'd think, oh yeah, I'm going to go over here and edit that. Don't edit that. There's nothing in there to edit, really. What we're going to be looking at is the PC server UDK game, right? So that's assuming you have it on your machine. If you don't have it on your machine and you're just running the actual, using the server files, or sorry, you're going to use this when you're using the server files. You're going to come down to UDK game when you're using your file. So you actually have the game installed on your machine. So let's look at the first thing. So the first thing it talks about is your engine access control. So let's go ahead and open that up. What this is talking about is it's talking about that. Make this bigger. What it's talking about is it's talking about whether it requires a password to get onto your server and the server admin password. So it allows you to put yourself as an admin. Definitely something that is useful to have if you need to do any balancing or anything like that. So we'll minimize that so we can still see. All right, so more or less, this is pretty easy. Literally select all, and then just copy paste it straight into engine access control. As you can see right here, where does it say it? Lines preceded by the semicolon are comments, so they have no effect on the config file. You can copy them in for your own reference or leave them out. So you can just copy this whole thing in there and you don't even have to worry about it. So what this is going to give you the ability to do is it's going to give you the ability to run an admin, put a password on your server, and even ban people permanently. So you're not gonna ban them for the 15 minutes that it originally bans for. You're gonna ban their entire user ID, so they're gonna be gone forever, which is unfortunately more or less pretty important whenever you're trying to do any of this. All right. So the next one is so you're gonna copy paste that right into access control. Currently, the game password, I'm not sure if I'm doing it wrong, but whenever I try to host a server, it's like, hey, you need a password. I type it in and nothing happens. So I'm leaving that off for the moment. And generally, it's okay to put some other players in, anyways. But I do have my admin password set up so that I can do that. Now, the next one we're going to go to is our engine.gamereplicationinfo. Now, what this allows us to do is this allows us to actually put a name for our server. So if we can go ahead and find that. It's somewhere here. This is a huge file. And unfortunately, Control F is a piece of crap and it does not find more or less anything that you're looking for. Anyways, while I'm looking for it, I'll go ahead and tell you what it means. But what it allows you to do is set a name for the server. You'd think that, after I've looked through this numerous times, I'd have an idea of where it is. No, I have no idea. But it allows you to more or less set a name for your server. So you can have any name that you want. I think I actually passed it earlier up. Where is it? Anyways, but oh yeah, there it is, right there. Boop. So there you can see that the server name is DSE Darkside Chivalry Server. That's the name of the server that I've set. And the message of the day is welcome to the Darkside Slaughterhouse. Now you can more or less set this to anything that you want. It'll allow your friends and other players to find it more easily. I did include the game tag just to separate out ours from the other Ds, but there's actually quite a few that have a tag in front of them anyway, so maybe not quite the most useful thing. Okay, so now this one's actually long and ridiculous. So let's kind of talk about a little bit of what's over here. And now don't worry, we're not skipping anything. This is actually the steps you need to follow. We got to get the server set up, then we're going to open our ports, and then we're going to get further into the game. Okay, so this allows you to set the map rotation. Now, this line is very important right here. You need to copy every single map name, letter for letter, exactly the way that it's written down here at the very bottom. If you have any of these wrong, the game is going to try to pull a file that doesn't exist, and it's going to cause the server to crash, so you do need to make sure you're getting that right. So moving down, so we can change a little bit of other things. We can lock it to first, third, or have you the ability to do either one. How much team damage is. You can actually turn that down to 0 if you'd like, but I generally recommend keeping it up. The game speed, you can run the game speed there. Voting options, blah, 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 blah. So there's quite a bit that you can do here as far as some more admin stuff. Only teammates, abstain count against minimum, blah, blah, blah. Length of time, whether you have ranking, can you use fisticuffs, can you use free cam when you're in spectator, or can you just only stick to people? What's the maximum ping? Now this is actually pretty important. if your ping jumps over 200 on my server, you are going to be kicked after it hitting that 4 times. Now, one thing you also have to remember, though, is so you don't kick literally everyone out of your server, the more people you have on your server, the higher the ping it is for everybody. So unless you have incredibly fast internet, you're going to want to stick around maybe at most 12 people. That's going to be 6 on 6, and that's going to tax everybody's ping. So make sure that you are fully aware of that, and you're more than likely going to kill your house's internet if there's other people there. So just be aware of that, and then the rank limits and stuff like that. So you have a bunch of more game-specific settings that you can change around here. None of this is too important. If you want to just get the server running, just copy-paste it all. Just copy-paste it all. It's not too much, and then it kind of breaks down everything a little bit more. All right. So now we're going to change this as well. This is going to set the port 7777 as to the Chivalry server. So that's going to allow it to actually access your computer. You will need to port forward this. I'm going to give a bit of a small tutorial on UVerse, AT&T UVerse, but it's not going to be the same for everyone. But the main idea that I'm going to be doing will be the same for most everyone. So just try to change it around depending on what your internet and your router needs. All right, so we're going to go ahead and leave that on. That's fine. That's fine. This is actually very important. You want this set up. And the reason you want this set up, I would actually change that to 778. That's the one I use, 778. You could probably still use 779. The reason you want to do this is because if you don't have your anti-cheat on, your VAC, then you are not going to be able to level up your weapons. It has to be on to level up your weapons. So if you want everyone to actually get credit for what they're doing, this is something you want to get done. All right. Global ban list is it's a bit of a beta thing right now. Basically, if there are any other servers that have someone banned from them, this will pull from that ban list and will not allow them onto your server. If you want to do it, you can. So, you know. All right, so now we're going to let's go ahead and not go to running yet because we've got to go to port forwarding. See what I'm talking about? Very, very useful, but didn't tell us anything about port forwarding. I guess most people would say, well, if you were smart enough, you'd realize it has to be port forwarded. But it's like, yeah, but I don't want to just port forward random shit, without knowing what I'm port forwarding. They didn't even give me the server numbers or the port numbers to use. So let's head into our port. Now, this might take a while because my internet is Okay, so AT&T UVerse home thing. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So let's take a look at our services and settings, because I lied. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to go to our firewall. In our firewall, you can see that I have all the servers open that I need to have. I actually had to rename them because it was being dumb and wouldn't let me delete the old ones. But we're going to go to Application, Pinholes, and DMZ. More than likely under your firewall there will be the ability to allow pinholes through your system. Once you've selected whatever your computer is, mine is the NerdHub Rig 3 because it's the 3rd iteration of this system, we are going to come down here. Now originally maximum protection is going to be on. It's basically going to close off all ports. You're going to need to allow individual applications. It'll be saying something different, I'm sure, on yours. Just try to interpret what I'm doing. Unfortunately, I cannot do it for every single system. It's just impossible. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a new user-defined application. For us, though, I'm going to click Edit. For you, oh, no, we'll just go and do a fake one. Let's do a fake one. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do application profile name. We're going to say test port. Okay. Now you have TCP and UDP. You actually need to do both of these. So let's do TCP first. And we're going to say 999999999. Full nines, right? Let's do 4 nines. 9999. Okay. So the port is going to be from 9999 to 999 because it is a specific port. We are only opening 9999. We're not like some applications will have you open from 700 to 750 because it might be using any one of those 50 ports. We are using a very specific port, so we don't have to worry about this. Protocol timeout, again, don't have to worry about it. It already has its default here, so we don't have to change that. Map the host port is going to be the same as the port above. So again, don't have to do this. Now here, again, wouldn't change anything. It doesn't require a specific firewall. So we're going to add to list. I'm going to then enter my password. More than likely, you won't see anything here. I have to actually look it up because it's saved on my phone. Now, if you don't know this, this is actually not your, surprisingly, is not your Wi-Fi password. So don't try to put your Wi-Fi password in here. It's not going to do anything. This is actually going to be on your box somewhere. Like mine is called device access code. Yours will be called something. I don't know what yours is called. It's going to be called something. Click. And we wait. And there we go. Configuration successful. So now if we see down here, we see TCP 999, host port 999, timeout 86400. So that's fine. Now we need to do this one, test port again. Now when we're doing UDP, we're going to do the exact same thing. So 9999, 9999, tap, 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 tap. Okay, now we're done. Add to list. And wait, and there we go. So now we have both of them. Great. That's what we wanted. Let's go back. We are done here, at least for showing you how to set up the test ports and stuff like that. So if we go back to status for my computer, it'll show you the ports that you need to have open. Go back to status. Stop being slow. Okay. So, I may have these labeled wrong, so ignore the labeling. But the Chivalry server I know is 7777, so you do need to have these open both in TCP and UDP. The Steam server is, I actually think the Steam server is 27015, so you'll need to open both of these in TCP and UDP. And then I believe the VAC server is actually 7778. So you'll need to have these opened up both in TCP and UDP. So pretty straightforward, guys. Just follow the last step over there and do it for each port. And again, like I said, make sure they're the same. They need to be the same. Otherwise, it's going to go ballistic and it's going to explode. Okay, so that's one thing done. I actually deleted the page like an idiot. Boop. Let's go back here because I went to it. Scroll. Okay, so now we're going to be running it. Okay, so this is the good part. This is the good part. Let's leave that up there. Now we are going to run the actual game. So let's open up our config files again. We go back. We go to binaries, Windows 32, all the way down. So if you didn't follow that, we went back to the Chivalry dedicated server folder. So out of UDK game, we're now in binaries. We're going to go to Windows 32. We're going to scroll all the way down and you see udk.exe, udkgame.exe, and udklogging.exe. Go ahead and just copy these to your desktop. Nice and easy. Copy them to your desktop. Go away. And we'll have them here. Okay, so now we have these all here. Which one do I want to use? Well, this is where, again, this site is a little bit not wrong, just it's not right. The executable is found in binaries, blah, 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 blah. To run it, create a shortcut batch file or whatever link to executable will make it look like blah. Okay, so what they really mean is just put it on your desktop or put it somewhere else. Just don't put it in the file. It needs to be somewhere else. Your desktop's a good place to put it. It just allows you to run it. Anyways, but what happens when I click on it? I clicked on it. Command prompt, and nothing happened. Well, that was uneventful, right? Yeah, so this one doesn't work. Oh, wait, there it goes. Sometimes it doesn't work. But nothing happens. Server, where are you? Server's not here. Now, I might be doing something wrong, and it's a good possibility I am, but I've got it to work other ways, so I'm just showing you the way I work it, not the way that it's supposed to be working. It just works fine for me. Now, the other one you can do is UDK game shortcut. Now, UDK game actually works. So UDK game will bring up the actual game. However, it's going to bring up the binary, and it's not going to show you as much information as you'd want to see. So as you can see, this is the map that it's starting on. There's currently 0 players, and the internet game is now working. So that one, not quite as good. I prefer UDK logging exe shortcut. The only reason is it just gives you a bit more information, a bit more control, and works a little bit better. So that's just the one I use. This one, I've always had success with this one, not so much with these other two. I just have all three of them on my desktop to show you. So now our server is running. Woohoo, great, you know, wonderful, whatever. But that's not it. Now, if you just run this, it's going to die. It's just going to immediately die. It's not going to do anything, and, you know, you're going to look silly. So what we have to do is we have to come back here. So once we've got these on our desktop, we're going to come back here, and we're going to look at this right here. It's a load of crap. I'm going to tell you right now, this makes no sense if you've never seen this before. So what it's actually asking you to do, now, you know, smart people probably know what we're supposed to do, but dumb people like me don't. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to right-click on the UDK logging exe. We're going to go to properties, and the target is what we're actually going to change. Right? I bet you didn't see that one coming. So let me go ahead and copy this all the way out so you can see what it looks like in full view. Phone unprofessional. Gonna copy that. Let's go on. Let's do notepad and paste. And full size. Okay. So this right here is let's make it bigger. Make it huge. Ah, too big. Let's do word wrapping format. Word wrap. There we go. So this right here is what you're going to have to put in your target. Now, this may or may not mean anything to you. So this is the actual target of the file path that it goes. So this is fine. Leave this alone. Don't change this. What we're actually going to change is what's after this little parentheses right here. This. So AOCCTTF-frigid_P question mark is the map, or P, no question mark, is the map. You'll then add a question mark, a space, Steam sockets, space dash freeloading server, space dash port, again, port 777, that's the one we had. The query port is 27015. So that's what we need to set. Now, if you set all that up, then yes, it will work. You'll go ahead and open it up, and it'll be fine. So you can just write this down, or you can create it yourself. So as we go back, this is where the information actually does come back, and is pretty important. So port allows you to use whatever ports. You don't have to use 777. Query port allows you to use any one you want, so you don't have to use 25018. You can use any one that you want. And the log, this allows you to save the log onto your computer. I don't know what this does. And then max players actually lets you set the max players. Now, your target is going to be an overriding command. So if you set your max players to 15 or 16 in game, found out that that's terrible, don't want to change your game files, you can actually go in, set your target, and put max players, 12, and then it will override the 15 and allow 12 in there. So that's what this is all about. This will all override anything you set in the game. So that's why they have you put it on the outside in the first place. So like I said, you can set it up more or less exactly like this, and it should be fine. You can insert this without the question mark. You can replace that with any one of these maps. As you can see, no question mark behind them. Some of them only end in a P, some end in UDK. It doesn't really matter. Just don't add 2 question marks. You only need 1. So that's what you'll need. All right, so let's go ahead and get our game running, and then I'm probably going to switch over to DxTory because I don't know if this Cam Studio thing is going to run well with Chivalry, but that's fine. Okay, so we've got that set up. No, don't save, I don't care. That's all here. This is fine. Don't worry about any of that. We're going to double click. Double click. Did I double click? I don't think I did. There we go. Now we're going to run it. Yay for editing. I'm probably going to be too lazy to edit that out. We'll see. All right. There we go. So it was running. I'm actually going to stop the recording and start it on another monitor so you guys can see what the server's doing at the current moment. So we'll be back when we're in the game. Okay, so we're actually back. We're taking a look at the server over here. I'm going to see if I can get all technical on this bitch, and I'm going to open up Chivalry in another screen And we're going to look at it there. And it's going to be great. Yeah, the resolution may have gone down just because the other monitor is not 1920 by 1080. But that's okay. We will deal with that later. We'll actually see. I don't actually know if this is even going to work. So we're going to see if this actually does, because it'll be interesting to see. And I forgot to open up DX Tory. So let's do that. Tory. Yes. Oh, DX Tory. Surprise! But she didn't see that coming. And there we go. Oh, my game. There we go. Oh. Yeah, well, this is making it just a little bit difficult to do, but I'll be able to, I think I can manage. So the first thing we're going to do, once opening up DX Store, and I do apologize about the cursor. It's something with Cam Studio. I just want you to be able to see both Chivalry and the server when we're doing this. So we're going to go to Create Game. Now, personally, I've never found... oh, God, this is going to be difficult. Frame rates... I've never personally been able to find our server actually here. I'm going to have to put music over this or something because that's really annoying. So hide passworded, backed, apply filter. I've never actually been able to find my server here. Other people have, and I think there's just something that I'm doing that's preventing it from actually showing up for me. It shows up for everyone else because people will find it, but it just doesn't show up for me. It should be here, but it's not. So I'm sure there's something I'm doing wrong, but whatever, we won't worry about it. But anyway, so the way you're going to do it if you're hosting the server is you're going to go to Create Game, frame rate. We're going to go to Start Game. Alright, so go ahead and just select random. It doesn't really matter because we're going to be reselecting in just a second. We just need to get... Actually, no, we don't have to do that. So, forgot. So we are going to do... There we go. So that, if you see, open 127.0.0.1, that is your local port. So we're going to need to open that. Hit enter. You might notice that the server's doing something. It's talking. And there we go. So now we'll see if we get rid of that. We are now on Frigid. This is the server that we said we were going to be on. I'm just going to join it with whatever. Command not recognized. Don't worry about that. It says that a lot for some reason, and I'm not 100% sure why, but it does. All right. So there we go. So it's working. The game's lagging like a butt, but it's working. You can see that it has spawned me and teleported and all of that good stuff. All right? So let's invite some people to the game, eh? Rid of that. Oh, friends. Oh, why is window so small? Actually, don't know if you guys can see this or not. I'm just going to go on the assumption that you can't. I'm going to invite a couple people. See if they join. I don't know if they will, but it'll just serve more as a representation of what will happen when you're hosting the server. So as you can see, the server is all fine and ready to go. If I tab, there we go, the name of our server, and everything is more or less fine and working. So that's more or less it. Once it's running and you can invite people, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to invite people to your server to see if it'll work. So that's the first step of getting it to work. The second step of getting it to work is going to be having people join it from the actual server list. So if you can get people to invite and join it, then you've succeeded. If they have to, if they can find it in the server list, then that's an even bigger success. There you go. See? And so you can see on the server, it's actually responding. It's doing things. And I've set it to, if I press O I can log in as an admin. I can do not a whole bunch of things, to be perfectly honest. It's not the most useful, but it does allow you to change people around, add things, kick people, that sort of thing. So it's kind of important. The way you do it, if you don't set it up to, as I can look through it right there, you can do set bind O, and then admin login, and then darkside99 is the password to the server, which I'm gonna have to change. Sad. But it allows you to just press O and log in. Otherwise, you can log in literally every single map, which is dumb. You can log in every single map using admin login space and then whatever the password you set for that. So kind of a silly system because you'll have to log in every single match, but that's just how that works. I'm actually going to interject one thing really quick, the admin command. So I kind of touched on this a second ago. This is a little bit more. So this is what you're going to use to set in your admin command. So as you can see, currently we don't have any reasonable amount of recon support. Server administration is best done on player inside the server. So a little bit silly, especially if you're hosting a server all the time, but this is just how it is. There are mods that allow you to actually do like whole team balancing and things like that, but at the moment you'd have to do it all manually. So here you go. You can do admin kick, kicks a user, admin kick ban, kicks them and permanently bans them if you set the ban up. It doesn't work if you didn't set it up. Admin login by your password, admin log out, get info, tells you who it is. You'll have to type in their name. So yeah. Anyways, admin change map, you can change the map, but you do have to have a map on hand to change it to. So again, not probably the most easy to use system. Admin restart map, restarts at the beginning. Change team allows you to change team, change someone to another team, but you have to do admin, change team, and then their name. That's the only way to do it. Admin change team damage amount, you can change the team damage on the fly, so the friendly fire. Cancel vote, you can cancel a vote that you feel is not right. Show debug. It shows the server's tick rate, but I don't know. Didn't use it. Slow-mo changes the server speed to slow. Pause pauses the server, but you have to have this enabled in the pause, allowed pause if you want to do that. Console damage. So it prints the damage amounts. Console. It affects all the players on the server. So it's showing you how much, I believe, damage each person is taking. And then the end game ends the current match. I don't believe end game ends the server, though. The server will stay up. You have to manually close the server each time. Okay, that's my little amendment for admin commands. That's literally it. Sorry, guys. Unless you want to use mods to give yourself a little bit more control, that's that. But I cannot recommend it since I am not Phyrexis. Or Torn Banner, excuse me. So, if they say there's a way to do it, then do it. Otherwise, do it at your own risk. And I don't think anyone was awake to join in, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, so there you go. That's more or less how to set up your Chivalry server. If you do have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments. I can post a follow-up video if there's something that is not working for you for that. But other than that, thanks guys for watching. Again, it's been Dark Solstice from the Dark Side Empire, and I will see you gentlemen and ladies, if there are any present, on the battlefield. Good night.